Bam, we're live. I was listening to Talking Elite Fitness, and I heard Tommy Marquez say that he slept 12 hours and was still tired. I was so happy to hear that. I didn't even realize that's where I was at, too. I didn't sleep 12 hours. I slept 8 hours, and I was still tired yesterday. I slept another, I don't know. I slept 7 hours last night. I'm still tired. I don't know what's going on. I'm sore. I did a shitload of thrusters yesterday. I mean, not relative to some of you guys. I did 100 thrusters with 45-pound bar. That shouldn't have made me sore. I am sore. I guess it's good I'm sore the next day. Normally, an old guy like me takes a few days to get sore. Good morning, Todd Butler. Excited. Yeah, this one's going to be wild. I look forward to Greg's unfiltered response to this scenario. Yep, it's going to be interesting. This should be a spicy episode. Yep, I think it will be interesting. Olivia, buckle up. Gonna get bumpy. Yeah. Sean M. I don't think his response will be surprising at all. CrossFit's cure for the world's most vexing problem, and the games are just an unnecessary extreme demonstration of what can be. Don't forget, Greg put the stopwatch to fitness, and so there's some, that's what turns it into a game. I'm more interested in how Sevon responds to Greg. Yeah, me too. What's up, Dad?
Hey.
Congrats.
Thank you. How am I? Can you hear me? See me? It's all good?
Yeah, it's good. You're nice and loud. The bird's awake.
Different laptop. I didn't know.
Oh. Did you get a new laptop?
No, I pulled out the little 16-inch Pro.
Oh.
And I'm just leaving that air packed as my shuttle computer.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds good.
Good.
Yeah. You been getting any sleep?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting your 4 hours a night?
Crazy sleep.
How old's the baby? 2 days?
You know what? I'm not staying the night in the hospital.
Yeah, good point. But whenever I call you, you're going back and forth in between it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a lot of visiting. We're done today.
What time does she come home?
You never know that, Sevi. Hours after you want to.
Are the kids excited?
You know, my buddy Craig the warden showed up at his cell after 37 years, wrongly convicted of murder, right?
Uh-huh.
The warden showed up and looked inside with a smile on his face, and he knew he was going home. He had heard nothing of the case, had no sense of why, but it was the last thing in the world you'd ever think would happen. It would be the warden to show up and smile.
Yeah.
There ought to be something like that in a hospital where they walk into the room and you can't believe it, but they're going to disconnect you and send you home. But it doesn't happen that way.
How many years did Craig do in jail? Was it
37? Framed by a shitty cop. Shitty doesn't even do it justice. Who now I believe is a successful minister.
The cop is.
Uh-huh.
He's repenting, Greg. He's repenting. Boy, dude, crazy weekend.
Oh, man.
Absolutely wild. Event 1 even.
Has there been an autopsy?
I was with someone who had their phone out, who knew how to like finagle, get to like the whatever. I guess it's public records. So I was with someone who kept refreshing the page, looking to see if the results came back from the autopsy, but I don't think it's come back yet.
I wouldn't think so.
What do they do in an autopsy? Do you know? What are they going to do? Cut him open and go straight to his heart? Look and see what happened to it, if something happened to his heart, or
yeah,
have a checklist?
They'll look at his heart and his brain and do some toxicology.
Can you distinguish? You can distinguish that if someone drowns, like if it was whether they drowned from taking in water versus if they had a heart
Yeah,
attack.
listen, I'm going to be very careful of not being any kind of medical expert on this bullshit. But I
Okay.
know this, that in these kinds of things, if there's no water in the lungs, that's different than if there is, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. I've got to see here. Here's part of the problem. I have athletes, oddly, and in significant numbers, important numbers, dropping dead in the midst of play in every sport.
Right.
That's just how that is. And yeah, it's a tragedy.
We didn't have any in CrossFit, and then one year, all of a
Dude,
sudden,
I lived in fear of this.
you did.
Yes.
This shit
Lived,
stressed you every year at the games. You got stressed
lived
out that
in
someone.
fear. I fucking hated it for that.
What did you think would happen? They drop a barbell on themselves, or
Always something odd, Was I
yeah,
shocked by Olgar's ricochet spinal severance? I mean, yes, I was shocked by it, and yet I was of the view that when you're going overhead with weights, you can't have anything 10 feet behind you. My fear was stumble back, hit the head. I never considered the bar itself could become a dangerous projectile hurtled towards you.
right,
But I would have not had the inventory there for reasons of stumbling back and hitting it myself.
right.
That is the weight pile. But fall from the rope, hit by a car, fall off on a bicycle race and get a subarachnoid hematoma, heat injury, complications with performance enhancing drugs. I like all of that. But look, dudes, look up death in triathlons and endurance sports, whatever it is. I went through the list. You can spend hours with that. Hours.
Eaton Beaver says, "Good morning, Greg.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
Coach. Good morning, Sevi. There's two things they want to get from an autopsy: cause of death and manner of death. Are autopsies public, Greg? Do you know?
Yeah, unless made otherwise.
Could he have a cardiac event and then drown, and it'd be hard to tell what he died from? They will dissect the heart, examine all the chambers and veins. Also, the body releases. Do you know
Yep.
that word? Troponin. During heart attacks, so they will check for that in his blood.
Yep.
Does the autopsy? I wonder if it gets compromised. The quality of it, because of how long he was down there.
I don't think so.
Multi-sport deaths. Oh wow, they have Lazar Jukic already on there. Wow.
Yeah, he got up there like second day.
Police believe they're here. Police. What year is this? Is this for a specific year? Oh, these are 2024. The only one. The only one that they have a. Vehicle collision.
I told you there's drunk driving incidents. There's a lot. Now, look at the ages. A lot of them are older folks.
62, 50, 73, 49, 34, 71, 62, 53, 50, 26, 53, 44, 62, 51, 58, 66, 64, 44, 48, 50, 34, 70, 61. Yeah, 58, 63. Wow, 2024 has been a busy year. 49, 59.
I would ask you this: is the lifeguard vigilance different at a NC2A D1 swim event, is there greater vigilance than you would have for a say a seniors water aerobics class? And if you say no, you're a fucking idiot.
Meaning it's more vigilant at a swim meet.
Okay, look at the ages of those deaths. I mean, this is a significant death in that it's a very young man and of extraordinary condition. What happens is those events are open to any asshole that aspires to be there, and look at
Right.
the age of them.
Right.
And many of them, I think, in the swim become exhausted and drown. He did not become exhausted and drown.
Right.
And this is all irrelevant of responsibility and all that to a large extent. I'm not addressing that, and morons are going to assume I am. I'm just saying, for me personally, the more I can know about something, the more informed my judgments become.
Right. Already someone, I'm sure, in the comments is saying, but he should have been saved. Yeah, no one's talking about that.
They're idiots. It's sign up for the idiot list.
It's almost, by the way, out there in social media world, you know, the same 10 influencers who have 1 million followers are all posting the exact same thing. It's almost like someone sent them a script. I'm heartbroken that Lazar died. We've been complaining for years. It's wild. It's wild. You know, Dave did 79 interviews with the athletes, and none of them brought up safety. They had 3 weeks notice of the event. Not a single complaint. Not a single worry. The organization, there's this organization, PFAA. I don't know what it stands for, but they've been trying to insert on safety at events for years now. And kudos to the guy who's doing it. I mean, he's done his exhaustive research, and you know what I mean. There's one guy at the top, and I appreciate his interest and his obsession with it. But it's interesting. They've been involved in one event that I know of, and it was Wadapalooza last year. And both incidents there, ironically, he was involved in. His rower was too close to a wall, so the back of his head was hitting the wall. And when they were doing wall walks, when you lowered them, the tall guys lowered themselves, their head hit one of the pull-up bar beams on the ground that held the pull-up bars up. And I'm thinking, wow.
The U.S. Army now, when someone collapses on a ruck or training, will test for sodium. They'll set up a line, but before they let it flow, they get a sodium test. And because you don't want to start pumping the ringers in if they're hyperinsulinemic, or I'm sorry, if they're hyponatremic. And so they test for sodium before they start that, because they'd had fatalities where athlete would collapse due to the hyperhydration campaign of our beverage industry. They were trying to avoid heat injuries, so they were overhydrating with your favorite electrolyte drink given to them for free in vast amounts, and it was killing soldiers. And it was CrossFit's work that got the Army to make the decision that you would set up the IV, but before you started, we'd get the sodium results back to know whether we needed to give that 3% 10 milliliter bolus or not to snap them out of it, to bring them out of it. All that work was the science is Tim Noakes and the Reed Waterlog, but the work through the Army was with CrossFit. That was with CrossFit. We have sent athletes to the emergency room who've been released, who we've sent back to the emergency room with a polite phone call from our medical staff. Hey, no, you need to look at this again. You're missing it. You don't see what's going on here on high level kidney function shit.
I remember that.
So the sense that, I mean, we're world leaders in this kind of thing.
Oh, no, we're leaders. We're leaders.
The best of the best, and us still are dead. That comes from Dave's character.
Your 2007 article on safety.
That was our culture, and that part hasn't changed.
Your 2007 article on safety, efficacy, and efficiency says it all. Hey, Greg.
You know why I've forgotten about that? Because that's just baked into who you are if you're worth a shit, and Dave's worth a shit. I know. I was thinking the other day. I know a lot of people in a lot of different professions. I know a boatload of SEALs. It's crazy how many SEAls I know. Well over 100. That young man stands out in my mind to the point where I've labored to become his friend.
Right.
That's how good a person he is. I would trust him. I would trust him with my kids in any environment. The worse the environment, the more trust I'd have in him.
Right.
I can't even imagine the emotional dynamics behind this. And did something go wrong? Yeah, hell yeah. And all of you out there think you could do better? What the fuck you can. I've spent my whole life I spent a good chunk of my life doing something no one had ever done before, and all you assholes were out there telling me I'm doing it wrong.
Right.
It'd never been done before, and every one of you assholes with an opinion was sure I was doing it wrong.
Right.
People that have never found any kind of success of any sort in their lives have opinion on this.
Right.
Good on them. Have opinions.
Look, and our first idiot has already posted it. Whether he had a heart attack, a leg cramp, or bug flew in his eye, he went under the water and nobody helped him. No autopsy is going to tell us why that was allowed to happen.
Pat, you know what? Do you think, how stupid you have to be to think that's not obvious to me?
Pat also thinks that George Floyd died by asphyxiation.
Tell me that what caused his distress isn't part of the problem and wouldn't relate to future concerns. You're a moron, dude. You're a moron. Do I need to go out in public? Would I need to go out and publicly say it's bad when someone drowns? I'm sorry I didn't cover that. It's a horrible thing. Did I forget to mention his wife? I mean, what's the appropriate thing to do? What does it look like to you? Because you've zeroed right in on the obvious. Good, nice going.
You need to listen to Chris Hinshaw on Talking Elite Fitness. He has Adler's Garmin stats during the swim. It was disturbing. One of the athletes' Garmin stats shows that he was treading water in one place for 6 minutes and 41 seconds. It's so outrageous, that number. I'm gonna stay on disbelief for that for a minute. I find it very hard to believe that a guy was treading water in one spot for 6 minutes and 41 seconds at the beginning of the race.
You know, I would have never let the games go to Dallas.
You wouldn't have?
Never.
Because of the heat.
You know that for a fact. My statement was I'll blow the city of Madison for the rest of my life to keep it here because of the cool summers.
Right. Will T, resist the mob always.
Yes. Hey, did you see this stuff I sent you, Elon's post?
Oh, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
Fuck, that's so good.
Yeah, he's so good.
That's so good. I'll pull that up real quick. We'll take a break from the game.
Same subject.
Really? I'm not sure how I'm gonna bring this up. Let me see. I wonder if I can make this bigger. Yeah, I can make this a little bigger.
On this thing, I've even come to the point where I feel my sympathies extend to the person on the paddleboard.
Oh yeah, how could you not, right?
How could you not? Like that. Hey, I was sent a clip of
I can't.
cops tending to a cop that was shot by a suspect who just wanted a cigarette, who was in cuffs, and they're interrogating him, getting some. He was going to give the lowdown to these guys, and they took him out to get a smoke. And while they did, and he'd been in custody, he'd given to them to talk to. He pulled a gun and killed a cop. Got the cuffs, or I don't know what the deal was. Got his cuffs in front of him and shot this cop. And as they were working on the cop that later died, um, one of the guys tending to him looked up and said, "Nick, he had a gun. You missed it." And he goes, "Yeah, this one hurts. It's gonna hurt." You know, you're just like, wow, that's there in real time. You bet it hurts, Nick. He's not letting it go. It's gonna hurt.
Danny Sherrard, a sympathy for the lifeguards. Are you joking? Wow, Danny, you sound like a really good person.
Yeah, he's a moron. Danny Sherrard is officially a moron. And that's all that is. I mean, that's just
wow. The response from people is amazing.
Danny's likely to have a kid drown. Do you have children, Danny? Do you breed?
Wow.
You know, we've published on the myth of hypervigilance. The myth of hypervigilance. There's no great lifeguard who says there's no way someone's going to drown while I'm sitting here. There's no great lifeguard that thinks that. You can't be good at that and believe that. It's not realistic to believe that. It shows an inexperience with lifeguarding to believe that. So fuck off, Danny. For all my lifeguard friends, it's tough work, you know. And was there a failure? Of course there was. To go back to the last moron who noticed that.
Thanks for being gentle. Morons very gentle.
I'll get rid of half your audience this morning.
Good. I'm not.
Yeah, I should have trimmed my own earlier. Hey, and you know what? I'm not going to sit here on the heat element.
Yeah, let me read this really quick. Hinshaw also blamed the heat stroke at Murph in 2015 on the lack of proper heat acclimatization. This is true in fact, but now he's bringing it up as an example of CrossFit's negligence. Oh, so okay. So at one point he said it was
okay. Well, look, Chris, we've had a significant influence on the way the world looked at heat injury, and in fact, in the very same seminar or whatever the hell it was, the symposium that CrossFit sponsored, funded, brought the scientists out and resolved the issue of hyperhydration once and for all, got it published in medical journals. At that very same deal, we had a scientist get up and talk about heat injury and its etiology, and if in fact whether it was temperature driven or is it more like a thermostat failure? And the math on that was very, very revealing. And in fact, it is more like a thermostat failure, and you don't get the response to temperature like you'd think you would. And the fact of it occurring more often at shorter distance than longer. And the science of it was fascinating. And we were world leaders in that. And so negligent, for Chris, it might mean not getting your way. I didn't always get my way. I was overly concerned, perhaps, about heat injury. And in fact, I'm telling you right now, I'm sharing with you that we spent millions of dollars on that very subject. Sat there with Tim Noakes and that scientist, by the way, who did the math on this thing and was a huge help to everyone in that business, was my father. And so you think you're seeing CrossFit negligence here, you're stupid. That's all. We did a lot of bragging about what we were doing. We tried to let the world know. I mean, could I do better than to spend $3 or $4 million and have a conference and videotape it and put it out on the fucking net and ask everyone to watch it? And that was on the subject of exercise-associated hypernatremic encephalopathy, where we got the medical community to say in a consensus statement, whatever the hell consensus statements are worth, but to publish in several peer-reviewed articles in medical journals, drink when you're thirsty, don't when you're not. And drinking to avoid heat injury is ridiculous. And drinking to avoid exertional cramping is nonsense. Now, there's is a fatal mistake, and for that there will be blame, and maybe should be, but just to think that you see systemic negligence or disregard, or you don't get it. Hey, we had level 1 trauma crew in the bowels of Carson, Navy corpsmen that have done more trauma work than anyone at your local level 1 trauma unit, and then they train with our guys. We got those guys in the bowels of the facility, and we've got a spot all roped off for a helicopter to put down, and we've got a SWAT team there, LAPD SWAT, with a contingency for multiple shooters.
I don't know how.
He's in the place worried about heat injury because it's 80 something degrees out.
I remember all of this. I don't know how
I do it better. No one's done it as well as us. And that includes managing of alcohol, managing of crowds, managing of garbage, treatment of injury, protection of athletes, safety, all that shit. Better than has ever been done before. That's just a fact. And you think because of our casual attitude that or maybe even at times a bit of arrogance or pride that we haven't taken care of these things or thought about it. We've thought about it more than our critics could ever imagine thinking about it, and probably more than they've ever thought about anything ever. And let me tell you something. I'm hearing an interpretation of interpretation. I'll tell you for a fact, Chris Hinshaw is not going to look me in the Zoom eye and tell me I was negligent. And I'll take responsibility for everything CrossFit did while I owned it.
I've been chatting with people on the
look
staff.
On your list there of deaths and see which of those was one of the fittest human beings on earth that's went to the bottom.
You mean our guy that went down this weekend?
Yeah, look at fatalities in Olympics, in national swim events. It doesn't happen.
I'm missing your point. Meaning,
there's something ahead of laying blame.
Mm-hmm.
We should all, if you care about anybody, if you don't want to pretend, but you really want to care about someone, find some way to form an interest in what would make an elite athlete, a gifted water polo player, drown at the finish line of a simple swim. And if you can't ask yourself that question, do everyone a favor and shut up. You're not grown up enough to even look at blame. So why am I interested in the autopsy? Because I'm not stupid. That keeps coming up this morning, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dumb people. It doesn't matter why Lazar went under. Nobody noticing he went under is what matters.
No, that's wrong.
I know.
That's wrong.
I know.
And wait. Put that back up.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't matter why Lazar went under. You're a moron. Nobody noticing he went under is what matters. It's important. It's huge. It's huge. That's why he drowned. Perhaps. That's why he drowned. And why he went under, it doesn't matter why. That might be the stupidest thing that anyone in the world will type this morning.
Yep.
Wherever morning comes around the world, you're gonna have to work hard to say it doesn't matter why Lazar went under. I would keep you away from anything that looked like planning one of these ever, because you don't give a fuck why someone drowned. Is there reason to think that maybe he should have been DQ'd from this event?
Right. Well, it's because this person's singularly focused. This is just mob.
Does that not matter to Avera?
That maybe he should have been disqualified from even doing the event.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Avera is going to tell me the medical history doesn't matter, because the only thing that matters to Avera is throwing blame.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you know something, Avera? You're the last person on earth I'd want to be in a fucking lifeboat with, or anywhere where critical decisions or important thinking has to happen. You're ineligible. Next comment.
This person just gave us $2. Thank you. Did Greg watch the event live?
No, I don't watch that shit. When I'm there, I don't. My back's to the event and I'm talking to people that came there to talk to me.
Drew, I always love the intellectual stimulation you and Greg provide. Sevi, been a fan since 2011. Keep the great content coming. Heat index appears to still be affecting the intellectual capacity of some here today. Cheers.
Yeah, the heat thing. I can't hear Murph and not think that. It's that vest.
Oh, the vest was the contributing factor that pushed people over the.
Well, like, of course, you know.
The weight of it, or it keeping the heat in, or.
And the heat in.
Yeah. Did your research touch on electrolyte drinks with sodium like LMNT or liquid for sugar-free? Any opinions on those things?
No, it's a data-driven link of I believe it involved ambient air temperature, athlete temperature, you know, and sequela, like, you know, outcomes. I'm not gonna repeat the thing. I'll also be frank. It was technical enough, and it was a mathematical affirmation of what had been suggested by a lot of people, including Tim Noakes, and it was technical enough to bore a lot of us. But the unmistakable takeaway is that something goes wrong in the athlete. Well, we know how to induce it, but there's drugs that'll bring on heat injury at low temp, at low ambient air temp. We can easily dysregulate our thermoregulation system. This, by the way, is Tim Noakes is a world-renowned authority on this exact subject. And it was he and my father working together was the research, and they weren't playing with. They weren't doing experiments.
Greg, over
disproving that Gatorade was saving lives.
Greg, over at Boeing, it's become quite conclusive that the firing of all the intelligentsia, firing of all the old white guy engineers, and then outsourcing all of the work is now the cause of the non-merit-based hiring. All of those things combined is now the cause of the planes going down.
CEO bragged about doing it before and as he was doing it. That he was going to get rid of the really intelligent assholes and bring in a new, you know.
And so
the message the stockholders wanted to hear, and in fact, the stock went through the roof.
Right. And so I've been talking to medical personnel who were on the team from 2015 to 2022 about the vetting process to get on the medical team, and it was insane. The quality of people that they were getting from the far corners of the fucking world and their fucking vast experience, and the fire captains and Navy SEALs and head of huge lifeguard teams, and the quality of doctors was wild. And I only have that information from 2015 to 2022, and then private equity comes in, and we it's very clear that there's non-merit based hiring as the most important aspect of CrossFit. Have you thought about that playing a role also? Cutting corners and not hiring based on merit. When I've spoken to these people,
Look, honest to God, I haven't given CrossFit enough thought to say I've thought about any of this.
Right. Okay.
Most of the thinking I've done has been in the past
15 minutes.
No, in the past week. And that comes out of my personal connection to the guy running the event. And coupled with a near sheer glee, probably akin to missing your flight and it goes down, kind of happiness that I'm not having to deal with this.
Right. We never had any serious events at the CrossFit Games, and then all of a sudden in 2022 there was a stroke and there was a clotting event. The woman who had the clotting event clearly admits that it's vax related. I haven't spoke to the guy who had the stroke, and now we have another guy who's at that perfect male age where all the males are going down. And during COVID, he was traveling between France, UAE, the United States, and Serbia. Do you find it at all peculiar that all of a sudden we have 3 of these after not having any for the first 16, 17 years?
No, I think it's consistent with what's happening globally in every sport. I listened to a FIFA coach saying that he was a coach for 30 years and he saw 18 months ago this first athlete die on the field. And 6 months after that, he saw a second. And here today, I've seen my third, or whatever his story was. Yeah. I mean, that kind of thing, like I get it. It's like the guy in dermatologist Encino that's seen a Kaposi sarcoma. And it's like a once in a lifetime find for a dermatologist, right? Amazing to see that. And then he sees another one, and then another one. And it's like, this is before we knew that AIDS was AIDS. This guy's seeing this crazy rash of rare cancer in people that don't seem to be otherwise, didn't have a reason to believe they were immunocompromised, right?
Mm-hmm. Would Greg have continued the weekend? Go ahead.
Caring about the athletes, and this is something that a bunch of the commenters aren't going to understand or don't understand apparently, but it's such a compelling thing to pay attention to. There's nothing street race about it. I mean, these are people's lives, livelihoods. I mean, everything's on the line. You're representing 15,000 affiliates with a party. It's no place to get someone killed. The company, the affiliates, the heart and soul of the company is in the business of improving and saving lives. There's no greater mishap than to lose one.
I want to say that these same influencers who are raging now are the ones that they kind of brought this upon themselves. The last time you complained, this is the outcome of it. This is what you got. There's a little piece of me that sees that. Not a little piece, a big piece of me that sees that. And now you're going to raise your voices and make a bunch of vague complaints without any specifics. You're going to jump on the bandwagon and post whatever that the template is that people are telling you to post. And you think you're going to cross over to the other side and it's going to be grass. It's going to be green grass on the other side, and once again, you're going to be fucked again. It's only going to. It's just. And what's also crazy to me is in another year, 2 years, Don will be gone, and all these athletes will be gone, and there'll be a whole new set of athletes in, and everyone will forget this, but they'll have to deal with the repercussions of the morons that led them over that next grassy hill. Would Greg have continued the weekend?
No, and I'm not. I don't. There's not a right or wrong there. It's just kind of like how you take the gut punch. And me, I'm shut down. Go home. We'll finish this thing in 10 days with a Monday, Wednesday, Friday online effort.
Okay.
And maybe even have a workout that you can do at your gym and send to Lazar's family. I don't know. But my sense would be to retreat. I mean, it's a party, for God's sakes. There's nothing important about the games. There is nothing important about the games. Except what? That nobody gets hurt, maybe?
Coach, did you watch the event?
How often have you heard me say, we're running a car dealership, and someone has suggested that if we had a clown and tied balloons, that people could look at the cars while their kids played with the fucking clown, and then eventually we get some cotton candy, and that's what the games is. You've heard that, right?
Yep.
And I go, here's my problem. Now you have 1,000 clowns. You have more clowns than car salesmen. You can't see the cars for the fucking cotton candy machines and the Ferris wheel. That's what the games is.
And now the clowns are making the decisions.
I tried to remove CrossFit games from CrossFit and sell it. I couldn't find anyone stupid enough to buy it. Let me say that again. I tried hard. I tried really hard, and I had the best help that money could fucking buy. WMEIMG. We were going to package that fucker up and sell it. So we were going to sell the games. Had a lot of bidders. Everyone was interested. Everyone wanted to buy the games. And then as we get close, and we had to explain that you don't get seminars and seminars and certifications, you don't get affiliation. They ran for the fucking door.
Right.
They ran for the door.
There's a group of people who are saying that they're going to organize a competing event to the games.
I tried to get them to.
and I and a bunch of my friends, we got together and we were laughing. We were trying to think of one successful outside event besides the CrossFit Games.
You're not gonna get me to name names, but I'm gonna tell you that there was a healthy contender in the space whose backing included people being hunted by Interpol. And the money laundering angle and opportunities were glaring to all who cared to look. Yeah, get into that space. Get in there. It'll make you some real money having a competition. It'll go over like the fucking grid league. More idiots.
And I think
that was an idiot fest.
Right. And do you think that Bill and Katie, and do you have to assume that Bill and Katie subsidize the shit out of their event? Because they throw a great event, but I have to imagine that it's a loss.
They're doing so well it doesn't matter like it was for me until it mattered.
Right.
I had people in the media department that thought that was what was driving the whole show.
Right.
People were coming to seminars and affiliating because of the games.
When you spoke to Rosa, did you give him any advice on the games?
They got to see everything I had done and was doing. There wasn't much interest in what I thought. They were super impressed with something that had never been done before, and they were convinced that I had done it wrong.
Right.
And so now they're going to do it right. By the way, I have absolutely no interest in competition. I do not want to be. Deeply do not want to be in that space.
You mean CrossFit competition space?
You do fitness.
Right.
I'm going to stay in the broken science area. I'm loving it. This is and in fact, everything I'm doing in broken science, we can follow that downstream and see why the opportunity for CrossFit arose, and why it is that you can't trust your doctor's advice on diet or exercise. It was amazing to me that I could come across him.
Rob Wolf made a comment on Fikowski's Instagram post saying Greg and Dave were allergic to input from the community.
The problem is that I wasn't sensitive to Rob Wolf's input as to what the community was. Rob Wolf came to me and told me that he couldn't get a fucking small business loan off of the Chico campus because they went to the website and saw pictures and that we were jingoistic. I'm like, jingoistic? Look that up.
Yeah,
He thought I needed to take down all the American flags and the guns and soldiers. That's Rob Wolf.
Characterized by extreme patriotism, especially in the form of aggressive warlike foreign policy. He was take down the flags and take down the pukey guy, Rob Wolf.
Rob Paleo, don't eat salt, sells salt for a living guy.
Right.
I couldn't get Rob to step aside from his ego long enough to help him in any meaningful way grow or develop.
Yeah, I spoke to the head, one of the people in charge over medical from 2015 to 2022. And what this person told me is that there was never, ever a single request denied, never a single no for extra resources. That CrossFit, the Dave and Greg, always provided all the support that they needed. Any request, any protocols, everything was always provided. And that it was the easiest. This person has a very crazy career in safety. From the bottom to the top, over 25 years experience. And that the vetting process to get in to be on the games team. Now, once again, this person was just, they haven't been there in the last 2 years.
Is anyone doing the ice pads?
Yeah, they got all the ice. They have all the ice pads.
Is that there still?
They have ice baths everywhere. Yeah, I didn't see him at the. I didn't see him at the. I can't remember if I.
I'm not asking an event, but was that down in the bowels where the medical shit and all the prep is?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that they had them. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure that they had them at that first event too.
So moving forward, would it be suggested that there should be a lifeguard at each tub?
Probably.
I mean, wouldn't that be considered? Anything could happen, right? Because it doesn't matter what the cause would be.
Right.
You're in water, and someone should be there to make sure that. Could what happened to Czar have conceivably happened to someone and they slid under their ice?
Yes. Yes. PFAA and athletes say they constantly were not listened to about safety. Don't compete and take a stand then. multiple athletes tested the course, most likely no safety personnel in place. Yeah, Lazar did the event with his brother a few days before. Dave swam the event. He's a fucking old man who is not in great shape. He did the event. He also beat some, and I think he did it during the day, in the heat of the day. Do you think Don's comments about
I look, it's official advice. You can still look it up from ACSM to drink 40 ounces of fluid per hour, as much as can be tolerated. I don't think that's been retracted. I could follow official protocols right to the fucking morgue with you.
once again, I do want to mention that the only event that I know of that the PFAA, and maybe they've done hundreds of events, I don't know, but the only one that I remember following that they were involved in were the two most insane incidents I've ever seen in the history of the sport. Putting a rower so close to the bleachers that the head of the PFAA was hitting his back of his head on there and had to adjust. And then the second item is when they were doing the wall walks, the people's heads, the tall guys, their heads were coming to back down to one of the steel beams. And you know what's crazy is one of the what I keep hearing over and over is that they need to outsource the safety. It's like, what does that do? That just pushes it down the street so that the next guy can fuck it up. What about Kara's heat stroke? That was bad. There's been a handful of heat strokes. You're testing for the fittest fucking human being on the planet. They've run thousands and thousands of athletes through fucking hundreds of workouts. And now you want to cherry pick one here, one here.
I still don't. What about Kara's heat stroke? That shit was bad.
That was the year they did Murph.
Would disagreement be, what about Kara's heat stroke? That shit was good?
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this. Do you think that you can do this?
I wouldn't have run Murph at that temp. I didn't like it, period. I didn't like Carson, period. I didn't like that my agent's SUV was broken out to and her back seat stolen. I didn't like that our chief counsel's SUV was broken into and his back seat stolen. I didn't like the summer temperatures. I didn't like you had to drive so far to stay somewhere comfortable. Right? Remember all that?
Yeah.
I didn't like that we got driven out of Monterey. I liked Madison a lot.
One year they did one of the years they did the games in Aromas. I can't remember the guy's name, Steve something. He was a famous TV personality in Australia, and he was a Special Forces Australia guy. And I remember him being in the ice bath on the last day, and he was crying. And he said, this event was so hard, I shouldn't be doing events like this because I have kids and a wife at home. And he was crying in the bathtub. There was no swimming that year.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't the point of the marathon that guy croaked, right?
Steve did?
No, isn't that the marathon story?
What's the marathon story?
The guy ran from somewhere to marathon. Isn't it a Greek city? Am I inventing this shit or what?
Oh.
And he arrived and he gave the message and dropped dead.
Oh. Is that what is that?
Right.
I didn't know it.
I mean,
I don't. Is that how the marathon got the name?
If it's not true, I'm going to write this shit. I'm going to make a story.
Right. It's amazing how many people are just doing the mob thing, just asking for someone's head.
Can you work yourself to death? Yes. Yep, you can.
Is the athlete's annual income important? I think this is
It will be to a settlement.
I think this is a leading question regarding when you said you would cancel the event, and there's the thought of, and this is true.
Oh no, no, their income is their fucking sponsorship. That means nothing to me. That brought nothing but disease and misfortune to the entire everything. Every Reebok dollar was poisonous.
Have you thought about offering HQ $5 million to get CrossFit back?
No, no. What would I fucking do with it? I'd have to deal with this shit all day long.
You could trade it for one of your boats.
Yeah, I'd do that.
You would do that? They could come pick one? A perfect time for Greg to buy back HQ for the cheap.
Yeah, I'd buy it and give it to Dave.
I thought someone liked the games. I fucking love the games. I love the games 1,000 times more than Greg does.
Yeah, I didn't like it. That's me.
I love that shit. I had an incredible experience there this year.
I liked, what was that? What was that restaurant? Love to give her a shout out.
Oh, in Madison. Greg and I had many of fucking disagreements over the games. Many.
Yeah, you're games junkie.
Yeah, I'm total games junkie. You know what I am? I'm a.
You know what? Let me tell you the kind of junkie I am. That the fact that the standard metrics, parameter by parameter for your health, are presumed to be independent variables when in fact they are dependent variables under complete and total control over what's for dinner and are you going to sit on the couch or not. And that nobody knows that. That's what I am. That is so fascinating to me that it's hard to believe, A, that it's fucking true, B, that it's gotten so wrong, and C, that it couldn't be more important. That's what I am. And what the fucking clown is wearing and what kind of cotton candy he's serving, I couldn't give two fucks. We're selling cars here. That's saving lives for all you tards. I didn't say retard. I said tards. It's different.
Thank you.
No disrespect for anyone that has biological reason for their incapacity.
Oh, someone just said something so mean about you.
Good.
You're not gonna like this. Why does this guy sound so much like Donald
Trump? Who should I sound like? That cackling imbecile? She shares all his bad personality and character traits.
How are the athletes gonna feel when CrossFit cancels the games or does them only every 4 years? No one. I mean, we already know no one else is gonna prop up anything significant other than Rogue.
The Chinese are gonna buy it.
The TikTok
they've
game.
got something that's kicking Starbucks ass.
They do.
It did it in China, and they're ready to go. Have you heard about this?
No.
Yeah.
They got a coffee shop?
I think it's called Lucky Coffee or Lucky.
Lucky Coffee China. God, I love all this shit, you know. It was founded in Beijing in 2017. As of March 2023, it had 10,000 stores. Wow.
Oh.
6,000 which are owned by franchises, and 3,000 which are owned by them and someone else.
Hey, Starbucks just can't get it right. But they like their third CEO, and the numbers just keep looking worse. Have you quit going?
Yeah, I quit going.
Is that because of us? I quit going.
Well, it was all the virtue signaling shit they had in there. I was just like,
the homeless people.
Yeah, I'm done with that. When they do you remember when those two guys went there and they didn't buy? The first thing that I remember is there were two guys in a Starbucks and they hadn't bought anything, and the manager kicked them out, and it became a race issue. And they didn't stand their guns and be like, "Fuck you! Like if you didn't buy something, you can't be in here." And so they changed their policy. Anyone can come in and sit in there. And at that point, I was like, "Fuck you guys! I'm not spending $5 for a coffee so any fucking buddy can just hang out in here."
Tim Silva told me how hard it is to talk to a family when their 9-year-old son gets a token to use the restroom and puts the money in, opens the door, and there's a dead guy in the toilet with a needle in his arm.
Right.
That you're telling them the pizza's on you, and they're just not hearing it. Damn. Hey, we've had Starbucks experiences. We've shared it before here.
Yeah. Yeah. Several, many. We went to Starbucks so many times. We have a whole list. We have a whole list of stories.
Yeah.
Guns, knives, and throwing drinks.
Oh, I didn't even think of that one. True. You remember the guy? You remember the guy that was 5150 that was doing the high-speed figure eights with the bar stool, the giant man, and the little gal, the little barista, the manager was elected at 5 feet tall to go up against this 6'5" guy, treating stools like they were nunchucks.
Right, I remember that. That was San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there with a backpack with a weapon in it, and I just announced to the table, if he hits her, I'm shooting him. Just everyone look out.
And do you remember there was a guy there with a violin, like studying musical sheets, just kind of like oblivious to the whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, Luis, of course. Is it not both? It's important to know why he got in trouble in the water, and shouldn't they double check the protocols on safety were correctly carried out?
Absolutely, absolutely. And like, how obvious is that? I want to know why he drowned, and I want to know why, and I want to figure out how to, so that the people on the paddle boards are more interested. I mean, my first question was, were those lifeguards or was that premium seating? I'm asking myself, I can make a volunteer out of a nephrologist, but can I make a volunteer out of a lifeguard? Like, can you do security at Taylor Swift's concert if you're dancing to the music? You're so emotionally involved with the song, you're uncontrollably crying. Are you good for security?
Someone wrote, Dave also went slow as shit. Well, he may have went slow as shit, but I'm pretty sure he beat Jack Rosema, Bailey Martin, Alexander Caron, Guy Melheros, and Patrick Vellner, and Archer Semenoff, and maybe Austin Hatfield and Cole Grayshaver. I can't remember his exact time. My point isn't his time. It's the fact that the stuff that people are posting out there, and there's no argument that in a perfect world, Lazar should have been grabbed. Absolutely. No one should be sinking to the bottom. No one's suggesting that he shouldn't have sunk to the bottom. No one's suggesting that he shouldn't have been grabbed. At all. And no one's, but people are suggesting that the lady who missed him shouldn't be devastated. That we shouldn't have compassion for the lady who missed him, or the man who missed him shouldn't be devastated, or that Dave's not devastated, or that these idiots who are making posts saying we've been complaining for years and we've had these problems for years, but yet they can't give one example, and that the examples they fucking give were fixed.
They should.
And now all of a sudden, by the way, I did ask the medical staff, there's this story going around that Matt Fraser almost drowned. And I've asked a half dozen medical staff about that, and they said, we never had that reported. Funny how that story is now all of a sudden a story. And there's no mention about the Masters athlete who was saved. Shouldn't that be like a, hey, congratulations? And there's no mention of the Masters athlete that had actually a CrossFit staff swim the entire event with him. And there's no mention that Rob Orlando was plucked out of the water in the ocean. And it's just like, it's just like, hey, we've been clamoring this. When? I don't ever remember you clamoring for it. I see you selling fucking everything from fucking Vagisil to stupid fucking powder in a plastic bucket with a sticker on it 3 times a week. But I've never heard you talk about safety. And now all of a sudden, because someone's passing out some sort of template for you to complain, you want someone's head. It's like, fuck you. Like, it's like, listen, if you have 15,000 posts just with yourself selling shit, and now you have a fucking post with Lazar Jukic, and that's the only post you have on there ever doing anything besides selling anything, I also know that you don't care about Lazar. You're just trying now to use him to sell yourself more. We've already established that your account is just to sell shit. And maybe you had an epiphany and that's your first post and you're going to change. But the history shows, no. You don't fucking tag people. You don't care about anything. You just take pictures of your ass for the last 5 years. And now Lazar died. And now you got a picture of him because you care. No, you're posting that to help prop up even more ass pictures and to sell more shit. Like, and that's okay. I'm not judging you for it. But then for all these people to jump on the bandwagon like it's sincere, it's like, holy shit. I'd like to take any of you at your lowest moment and start passing judgment on you. Someone called me the other day, absolutely terrified and worried about the athletes. Not one person has been like, hey, I'm worried about the chick on the board. I'm worried about Dave. I'm worried about the head of medical. No one's saying shit about all the people who fucking gave the last fucking 10 years of their life concerned about the athletes and what they might be going through. And without them, the event doesn't go on. And don't be surprised if the games are canceled forever. They're going to get what they want. And when the games only happen every 4 years, it's going to be so much better. I think Roger. Go ahead.
Can't.
Why not? Yeah, they can.
Every 4 years?
Sure, why not? Every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Fuck it. Who cares? Dude, no one's going to fill the space. They still get to keep the name fittest on earth. I think Roger Gilrose, who delivers the throwdowns, Oslo, Norwegian, French, Sweden, French, etc., will begin to grow more. The European throwdowns are growing among the athletes. Yeah, something definitely. I mean, definitely Europe and Australia have way bigger crowds than the U.S.
Yeah, I get that. Nobody grew like Canada until nobody grew like Australia until nobody grew like, and eventually like we're wondering why there are no French affiliates. Now there's 1,000, right? What is it, 500 now? I don't know what's going on, but okay, what else?
That's it.
Hey, Elon and the and his did you pull that up?
Oh, I'm having issues pulling it up, but I'll read it. You watch the Hunger Games and sided with the Resistance. You watch Star Wars and sided with the Resistance. You watch The Matrix and sided with the Resistance. You watch The Divergent and sided with the Resistance. You watch V for Vendetta and sided with the Resistance. When it's fiction, you understand, yet you refuse to see it when it's the reality you're living in.
That's great.
I know, it's so good. Hey, did you see that they did someone did an attack on his and Trump's live stream?
Yeah.
Very expensive attack. Crazy, right?
Yeah. Did you know someone shot at him? Shot him. Fuck. Shot him. Sound like a liberal.
Hey, Danny, I was, just so you know, Sevon Greg, what would you say to Luca right now? Just so you know, Danny,
Who's Luca?
That's Lazar's brother who was also in the event. When Dave was first notified, I was standing right there, and I immediately stopped filming and started looking for him at the ice baths and everywhere. And I continued to look for him the entire fucking time in the crowd to see if he had come in or not. And I also saw Luca after the event. Sleeky, Danny Shittard.
Yeah.
Can we go back to talking about how much money Greg has and where he will be vacationing next? How's the schooling going?
Oh man, it's we just had a new baby, so
I know. I was just trying to imagine what it's like at your house.
I'm slotted for a start here in 20 minutes with the Rhett and Riley, and we're gonna try and kind of be nosing our way back into action. So
you're not Luca is mad is what I'm saying. Is he right to be? You're not asking that. That's another fucking stupid question. Yeah, he should be fucking angry and devastated. His fucking brother just died. His best friend just died. We should all be angry and sad. And no, I wasn't asking for the head of Secret Service 2 minutes after the shooting. I actually fucking felt bad for the lady while she was fucking being grilled. I left that one pretty. I let that one slide through the cracks pretty good. I'm not worried. One more thing, I'm not worried about people being angry or mad. I'm not defending the organization on what happened to Luca. I'm talking about the people who are jumping on the fucking bandwagon or people telling stories. Like the other day in one of the shows, they mentioned Deborah Corden Lane or whatever her name is as an incident that happened at the swim. And there's no context put into it. Dave went into the fucking ocean with her, clothed. Put his arm around her. She won Spirit of the Games.
Sevi, why is there no drone footage of the thing?
I think there is. Oh, I think there is. You know what's crazy, Greg, is I'm just making this number up, but there were 100 videographers on the edge, and when we all got home, we all have footage of the drowning. Like, I have footage of the drowning. I just didn't see it. Being there, I didn't see it because I was looking through the lens right the whole time, and I'm only watching.
It happens to lifeguards in public pools that are hypervigilant, watching, looking, scanning the water. And what you notice is there's someone drifting underneath. Different than the other kids drifting underneath. This one's not moving for a while. And you jump in and it may be too late. Often not, often it is. There's a myth of hypervigilance. The Sterling story that we published was great. A little different context with kids. But mom goes to a friend's house, sets a kid on the floor, goes to the fridge, turns around, he's gone. Looks around, starts running into different houses, rooms, looking everywhere. And he'd gone out a doggy door behind a bookcase that she didn't know existed. He went from living room, crawled out the doggy door. Took her 5 minutes to get to the pool where he was on the bottom.
Clint, I'm behind, but the 2017 story about Fraser was told 2 years ago, and Brent confirmed it 2 years ago. Yeah, but why wasn't it reported to the medical staff? I went back and asked. They said they have no fucking report of that. They'd never heard of that. I spoke to the head of medical back then.
So is Fraser telling this story?
No, I should leave Fraser out of it because Fraser is being chill. But Hinshaw told this story, and I guess recently, or he told it a couple of years ago on the Mark Bell podcast, and now it's resurfaced that supposedly he was going under and Fikowski grabbed him.
So he won the event, did he?
No, I don't think he won that event. He
swim. I don't. What's the story here?
he wasn't a good swimmer that year, I don't think. Greg's opinion of the 1 minute situation. Sevon, the true Noah, come out. What's the 1 minute situation? I don't know what that is. Sorry, or else I would. There's no bigger. Oh, thank you for the money. There's no bigger hypocrite than you. You have 2 sets of rules for everything. Mirror time. Okay. Thank you.
You know, would I be less interested if it weren't the CrossFit Games?
Probably. Would you what? Be more interested?
I wouldn't know about it. I mean, there were two people drowned in an Irish triathlon recently. I would assume there's the same kind of hate spinning. I don't know.
This is fucking stupid. Johan Wu, medical wouldn't have a record unless there was a problem. That is their obligation. However, a concern or complaint would have been sent to the organization. Listen, if Fraser was drowning and he reported it to the medical staff, they would know. And I'm telling you that I fucking talked to them. And I wouldn't be surprised also if Fraser didn't say anything because he likes to keep a tight lip on everything, on all his performances. Oh, someone has. This is an important question.
Stevie, I would guess if we polled what we all call the community, that like electrocuted, a good third of the community had no idea men died. My kids have all drowned. Ask them.
Say that one more time.
All my kids have drowned. Ask him.
Oh.
He drowned me, so I hit him in the face.
Right.
Oh, okay. These, you're trying to have conversations with people that aren't conversation ready.
Sevi, will you please shout out Enrique Noriega? We were both there, and his spirit and love meant a lot to me. When we needed it. Okay, shout out to Enrique Noriega.
Who is that?
I don't know. Agatha. John, my frustration is the present and response time on site water safety personnel. I hear you. Very valid. Yeah, I'm frustrated too with that. More than frustrated. Sucks. I'm frustrated that he didn't get medical clearance before he went in the water. I'm frustrated that no one asked him about what happened at the Burj Khalifa a year ago or at the Capitol event. I'm frustrated about all that.
There's things that
I'm frustrated.
I can't imagine the lifeguard stopping me from swimming to someone that needed help. I don't think they've made one.
Say that one more time.
There is no lifeguard that could stop me from getting to someone that I thought was drowning.
Right. I'm frustrated that the guy who jumped in the water to save him was turned back.
Person where they needed help and continue with my journey. Put one of your eyeballs in your hand and then go about my business.
Dottie Dumpling Dowry.
There we go.
I cheated. Someone sent me a text.
Great place. That was the best part of the games. Remember, we made it free for everyone there one night. Food and drink. That was fun. There's only one thing better than that, and that was the international athletes reception and dinner. When we opened the door to the games to the whole world in 2019, was it 18, 19? Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
That was cool.
Sorry for my poor grammar. Nah, no problem. That's a wild picture of you. Is that you or is that? I don't think that's you.
What was it? A javelin throw? What was I looking at?
I'm not sure. And you couldn't walk because it was so packed that night.
Yeah, that was cool.
And here's another thing. When you spend the last 10 years of your life screaming you want people's head, it invalidates, at some point it becomes the boy who cries wolf. It invalidates you screaming for people's heads. When everything for you is like a life or death situation, like if you don't do this, you're going to die. It all of a sudden becomes invalid, that everything you say about life or death situations.
It gives them a sense of belonging. It's a community of other people doing that.
Jost, sorry, Greg. Jost, you're a fucking dipshit. So you only react to comments if you pay? How about fuck you? How about there's fucking thousands of comments fucking flying by me, you moron, and those ones are fucking highlighted? Fuck you. I'm kicking you out.
Hey, Sevi, what were you saying yesterday? And I go,
hold
so
on,
what
I'm
if
kicking this dude out. I'm kicking that dude out. And yeah, and even if I did do that, so what? Fuck you. You're out. Ban user, delete their comments.
Sevi, what were we talking about
fucking
yesterday?
asshole.
Is that an option? Is ban user, block comments?
Here, listen, Trish. Thank you, Trish. Trish, Jost, sometimes he doesn't even react if you pay. Thank you, Trish. Fucking dipshits.
Sevi, what were you telling me that something was accused of working out? I go, yes. That so you're saying that people do interviews with him because someone had accused you, said of you that people did interviews with you because they're afraid you'll attack them if they don't.
Yeah, someone told me that the other day, that people come on my show.
You should aspire to that being true. If there's any even remote possibility of being that good, aspire to that.
There's also this other thing. I'll bring this up to you too, Greg. There's also this other thing. There's like this panic from people in the ecosystem that if CrossFit goes down, that like their lives will be shattered. So like for some reason, like if CrossFit were to go away for whatever that looks like, that somehow like it would affect me, or like my podcast would go away, or like all of a sudden if HQ shut down, poof, all 15,000 gyms around the world fucking disappear. Or it's kind of like the January 6th thing, like people who like think it's an insurrection, like that they were going to get in there and grab the hammer and all of a sudden they were going to run the country. You know what I mean? But it was kind of funny because it was like that, like with the media, like they all of a sudden everyone thought like they were going to be out of jobs, like their whole purpose or their only existence or the only thing they could do was film people who do thrusters. It was
every restaurant has Icelandic chicks waiting tables.
Finished reading The Fountainhead last night and couldn't help but compare Rorik to Greg. Have you all read it? Thank you all for speaking the truth. I have not read it, I'm ashamed to say.
That's kind. Thank you.
He was a good dude.
Good enough.
Is it better than comparing you to Donald Trump?
You know, my opinions of Trump.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for him proudly.
Yes.
You know what, kids? It's not the high school president. Whether you like someone or not has nothing to do with it. There's all kinds of people that I like that I wouldn't vote for president.
This is how stupid people are. People are
Imagine this. Imagine not liking someone and thinking they would be the best choice for president. That's an intellectual exercise for all my lefty friends. They're not able to do it.
Say it one more time. Imagine not liking someone.
Conjure up this scenario where you would say, yeah, I don't like that guy, but that is who I'm going to vote for.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like him, and I'm voting for him. My like or dislike is irrelevant to what matters in selecting the candidate. Just play with that and see if you can create fruit, because it's a very real thing for almost all thinking people. That's the world we live in. See, my lefty friends, part of what makes me say they're not as smart as they need to be as non-lefties, they're flummoxed at the choice of Dumb and Dumber. They're incapacitated, and they're gonna keep telling me over and over, but he's dumb. I go, but the other guy's dumber. Please. Dumb and Dumber. Telling me my guy's dumb doesn't help. Yours is dumber.
How about telling you your guy is weird?
He has an enormous obligation to explain a radical shift in position. She's assumed to be the principal architect of a position she's abandoned on fucking 180 degrees at the speed of light. Explain to us. That happens. I expect apostasy of genius. I expect it. And the best of it comes with explanation. Hey, big push out to a book, Conservative Intellectual Movement in America since 1945, I think is the name.
Conservative
Intellectual in the United States since 1945. I believe it's another one of those works. It might have been pull that up.
Did you just read it recently?
No, a long time ago.
Oh yeah. I've seen this book. You've given me this book more than once.
I give it to everyone. It's a fantastic introduction to some extraordinary thinkers. Nash, right? George Nash.
Yeah.
Huge, great book. There's a lifetime of reading to be found in just the references from
that. Brian Clark, Greg is nothing like Trump. Positively fit adventure. Sevia skipped over even some of my paid ones. Who cares? Don't be a bitch. I know, but I just thought it was funny. I just wanted to make a bit out of it. Thank you. Sevi writing it down like he's going to actually try and read it. Thank you.
Trish, it's an easy read.
Hey, there were some crazy things that happened.
I mentioned it. Sorry for the interruption. I mentioned that book because the lesson you learn is that the best of political thinkers, almost all of them were, and there's the notable exceptions are like William F. Buckley, but they were all darlings of the left, deeply committed to socialist, leftist, communist cause, and found apostasy and pulling their heads out of their ass and getting the shit out of their eyes. And that's actually expected. And so I said, I expect apostasy of genius. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind. Someone said of, I'll think of who it was, and I should remember now, Darkness at Noon, Kissinger, right? Arthur Kissinger, did I see that? Am I doing that right or I get that wrong? But anyways, he gave up his citizenship and moved to Russia, and then came back and took his citizenship back and denounced Russia. And he said he went to hell and didn't come back empty-handed.
Wow.
It's just a great line. Went to hell and came back and not empty-handed. And so John, it's okay for her to change her mind, but she needs to explain to us now why. Like what happened? Why do you now think that instead of their response to inflation was to spend $1 billion looking after waiters and waitresses on the tips they were keeping? That's baked into that. And all of a sudden, no tips. Why? I mean, it's the right position. It puts us in the awkward position of criticizing her for finally making sense.
Greg is a modern Russell Kirk. Dave Smith for president. Greg for VP. I want a petition for my $5 back. Just DM me. I'll send it back to you. Hey, what's crazy is she's saying all the things she's going to do, but why doesn't she do them now? Why don't her and Biden do them now?
Well, the implication would be that he won't let her, so that things are bad because of him, not her. This debate's going to be something else.
I can't wait for the convention. Even my kids, because I watched the whole Republican convention, they're like, when do right when I got home from the games, my 9-year-old's like, when do the other guys go? Do we get to watch that? I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to watch that one.
All right, Sevy, it's new baby time. I love you. Love everyone.
I love you too. Are you headed to the hospital?
Yeah. No, it's a couple hours of homeschool. First wave of kids go to the hospital. We decided yesterday they need to take turns.
I just want to tell you a story, okay, real quick.
Yeah.
So there were some athletes who, when the event started, like they would be out there on the floor, like a team of athletes, right? Like 4 people, and it was team events. And they would say 3, 2, 1, go. You already know this is going to be great, right?
Yeah, take the knee.
They took the knee and they let a minute go by, and the ESPN cameras stay focused on them, and the whole crowd goes crazy. I don't know why the crowd goes crazy, but they go crazy. I was tripping on that. I was trying to figure out why they're going crazy. And they're so excited. And then as we get closer to prize money time, those teams send out a survey asking the other teams if they can get to vote so they can get their minute back. And that right there, and that's cool. Like kudos to you for like fucking having no value. I used to have no values and morals. I get it, and I actually really like these people who did that. Like
this is the crew that you spent, the type that spend enough time in church resenting to give the money, so you learn to run your hand over the plate and palm your money, and then a few years later you learn to actually take something out.
You drop a 1 and pull out a 5.
Yeah, you make change.
I was thinking of it's like donating to GoFundMe and then calling your credit card and canceling.
Yes, $20,000 to Lazar's. How much money have they raised yet?
I did a live podcast right after it happened, and we raised $200,000. The posse in the chat, 200,000. It went from when we started the show, it had 66 donations. When we ended, it had 2,800. Oh, Elisa Bo, 467,000, $500,000.
That's gonna be a hell of a fucking funeral. Is there gonna be a competition?
No, they quit CrossFit.
No, what is this money for?
He's got to fly, dude. He's got to fly his fucking family back. The bot. There's gonna be just expenses. The fucking family gets crippled, right? No one wants to work. Everyone's gonna be depressed. Just all that horrible shit that must come with that. The debilitating fucking mental state. And it makes people feel good. I felt better giving $100. I'm gonna put you down for $100. Trey Newson, first triathlete this weekend. I emailed about their swim safety protocol. This is the response I see. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think there might have been a link there.
Oh, I can't do links. Hey, one more thing. You ready for this?
Yeah.
They asked the athletes what they want to do. You're gonna love this. This is just like a perfectly. and there was a proposal from one of the athletes or some of the athletes that they take the $3 million in prize money or 2 million, whatever it is, and spread it evenly amongst all the athletes. Like that, like,
That
like,
idea never quits coming. That's
like the,
yeah, I
like,
think that's
like the
yeah,
second you ask them for something, they immediately go to
yeah, that again.
give me access to the coffers.
Um, so the men's and women's champ of the year before withdrew.
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah,
withdrew.
and
Now
so the purpose
he's claiming he almost drowned too now.
yeah, well, sure. The purpose of the games is to do what?
Crown the fittest.
Yeah, and so that becomes way less probable, the possibilities are diminished of accomplishing that
You mean if that guy pulls out?
with those two out, men's and women's from last year are
Yeah,
gone.
yeah, man. But the
Were they
women's
favored to win?
no,
Were they
no.
likely to
Maybe the man could have won. The woman had no chance, none at all.
okay? Is this sponsor driven? You believe?
The reason that they kept going.
Didn't go. I thought you said they withdrew.
Oh, they didn't go. Well, there is now. There's more crazy stories there. I so didn't want to get into this, but there's now stories coming out that they checked with their sponsors before they pulled out to make sure that it wouldn't affect their money. I mean,
You better. It'd be stupid not to.
but I mean, you're pulling out based on some. You're saying to the world you're pulling out based on some values and morals, and yet you check your bank account first.
Yeah, when the games athletes turned on me, that was sponsor driven.
Oh, okay. Well,
And so at the point that the sponsors of your sporting event all get together and decide you're done, you pretty much are. Like poor Sleepy Joe, they told him, you can run for president, but there'll be no money to spend. That he understood.
yeah.
It might be style, but he's not.
You think they paid him to step down? There was some financial package?
I don't nothing like the Chinese had given him.
Right.
They're going to carve his ass on Rushmore.
Oh God,
They're saying he's one of the greatest presidents ever. Joe and Kamala everyone needs to watch Being There tonight. Chauncey Gardner, Jerzy Kaczynski wrote that, I believe. Being There. It's great. They're not there. Neither one of them. Okay, I got to go. It's time for baby shift. New baby pickup, maybe.
All right. Have fun. Call me later.
Thank you, everyone.
Can't wait till you come back to Santa Cruz to nest a little bit.
Yeah, nicest place in the world.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.
And the most expensive. All right. I did watch the interview with Hinshaw and Talking Elite Fitness. I did watch that. I watched Sean and Lauren. I did watch that. I hope that Dawn doesn't collapse under the pressure of these fucking idiots that come and go and aren't saying anything. I so want to oh, first of all, I need to apologize. That post I made yesterday, I should have been more clear. The only person that I give any footing like to stand on is Fikowski. Like he's been banging this drum for years. But if you're not going to post a list, if you're going to say we've been complaining for years, that means nothing to me. You're basically just inciting a riot. It's like, um, where's the list of shit? Where is it? Anytime I ask anyone, they're like, we've been talking about and concerned about safety for years. Okay, cool. CrossFit's been concerned and asking, working on safety for years too. Okay, now those two cancel each other out. Now what? Well, we asked them to make sure that they only had the games in places where it never went over 80 degrees. Okay, what did they say? They said that they can't do that. Okay, cool. All right, there's a data point. I mean, I just made that up. I don't know if they did that. But it's not like that. That's not what's going on. It's all these people with just shitloads of followers been saying we've been complaining for years. Like, I don't ever remember the complaining. And like I said over and over, okay, here's a complaint I remember. I remember them complaining that the pull-up bars were too low one year for Fikowski and maybe one other person. And maybe he has shitloads and shitloads of documentation about the complaints or the changes. But how about how many of them did they make and change? All I'm hearing is basically attacks, and even from Fikowski's, that they want to keep the event secret. So what? So what if they want to keep the events a secret? Like, now all of a sudden you're leveraging one of the coolest parts about the games. Listen, you know what's so funny? He says they want to keep the event secrets, but if you ask the fucking 80 athletes there, 78 of them would have told you, yeah, we love keeping the event secrets. Oh, but just tell the PFAA so they can review them. I'm gonna want to address Patrick. God, you're so fucking dumb. Wh- Um, someone needs to show leadership at CrossFit. Don Fall should step down. He's a CEO, and someone died under his watch. Tough break for him. Dave Castro moves into CEO position. J.R. Howell replaces Dave Castro. Condolences to the community. Dude, I, I would, d- I, I have a prediction, and it's not going to be good for the athletes, man. They are fucking up again. You just sit out there and say you want heads to roll, and we're in private equity world, and the heads are going to roll, and what you get left with is going to be just the next level of stupidity. You better be careful. You better fucking be careful what you ask for. No one's even talked about or knows about the requirements what it takes to be on on that medical team. And that's what proves to me that no one even fucking really cares. And when I say no one, I mean just all the athletes who are posting just the vague stuff. We've been asking, my heart is broken. We've been asking for changes for years. How about get behind your leader? How about get behind your leader? I saw Frog Grips even went on the attack. Sevon, where's your new shirt? I left it in great question. I left it in Souza was nice enough to carry it for me, and I left it. I left it in his bag. I need to get it. He lives close to me, like 70 miles. Yeah, I can't stand the argument no one at CrossFit is an athlete or coach. What the hell does that have to do with not knowing what's safe or not? Yeah, and none of the athletes have ever fucking led anyone either, and have never run a fucking event. I mean, it's just I know it's just endless. It's just endless fucking stupidity. I know someone in here wrote Frog Grip should be worried about the wrists they're hurting, not be worried about fucking safety at the games. They can't even cut out a piece of fucking leather and hand it to someone without it injuring them. Fucktards. All right, I'm done. Thank you. Great for Greg to come on. We're so fucking lucky. We're so lucky to have him. All right. Those of you who are new here, welcome. Don't hang out too long. Oh, you're out. I think Sevy knows he's done once Dave is out. Buddy, I've been out for a long time. Buddy, I've been out for a long, long fucking time. Rakesh, Manon, Savan, there has to be something that CrossFit is doing wrong. All the athletes are bringing this up, so there should be some truth. So after my post yesterday, there's already a dozen athletes in my DMs who agree with me. You have to remember that the people complaining are the same people who always complain, and they never say fucking anything, and there's no fucking examples. And it's all the people with a fucking million fucking followers. And if you don't think that fucking I love Shelby Neal, but if you think it's odd that after a CrossFit workout someone threw up, well then you fucking haven't been following the games, or you want to watch a different event than I did. Because I want to see the test for the fittest. Everyone was complaining that fucking Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd, and we know that's not true. Everyone was saying to take the COVID vaccine, and we know that that was a fucking mistake. And that's just fucking. Sorry, Rakesh, I like you, but that's just horrible fucking logic. Just look at their posts. They're not fucking saying anything. They're just fucking virtue signaling. You can't have 1,000 fucking posts selling fucking hand cream, and then all of a sudden you get one picture of Lazar because he's fucking dead, and you want me to fucking take that as like your opinion matters at all. You posted that picture of Lazar so people will like you and you'll sell more hand cream. The fucking internet's full of people asking, why aren't you posting anything about it? It's the same people that are fucking upset that Rebecca Fuselier opened up her gym so people could fucking go there and grieve. It's the same fucking people that are getting upset that fucking we smiled. You know, the same people who are upset that we smiled on the fucking podcast because we were having audio issues in the beginning and it was funny, and yet we raised $200,000 for Lazar's family. It's just fucking idiot world, dude. It's the same people pointing out the fact that a Masters athlete was almost drowned and that he was saved, but it was like, yeah, but he was saved. Or forget that another Masters athlete that yesterday had a fucking lifeguard swim the entire race with him. I mean, it's just like you don't think that there's gonna fucking be heat stroke once in a while at a fucking CrossFit event? Sorry, then we're just gonna have to like not see eye to eye on that. And then all of a sudden to keep conflating it with the fact that Lazar died and there's somehow some diminishment of that, that's not it at all. But these people want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I don't want to do that. And like, to be honest with you, I don't care what happens to Dave as long as he's happy with it. I don't give a fuck. It's not going to affect me fucking at all. I'm not even going to be affected if CrossFit goes away. I have no fucking attachment to it at all. You're a fucking nut. The only fucking conspiracy that anyone's remotely close to being correct on is that, yeah, I have a profound fucking love for Dave and I'll fucking go to war for him. That's it. Norm K, $1.99. And I've said that every day since the beginning. And so now you know. And for anyone who thinks like that, whatever, that I'm incorrect or two-faced or just loyal to Dave, or pile on all this shit. I'm not a nice person, whatever you want to say. Just remember, there's no one who's going to give it to you more straight than me right here. Nobody. So even dipshits like Pat Lang have to come here because they know everywhere else it's fucking worse. Because at least I'm going to fucking tell you my bias. All right, guys. Love you. I have been talking to shitloads of people behind the scenes, shitloads and shitloads. I must have spent fucking 9 hours on the phone yesterday. So, Sevi, you turned off your camera during event 1 and you do behind the scenes. You are up CrossFit's butthole. Listen, I wasn't first of all, you're fucking crazy. You're fucking nuts. But oh, fuck you. I'm not even going to explain it to you. Does anyone want me to explain it to him? Yeah, he helped fucking look. It wasn't like I was like, "Hey, I'm fucking turning off my fucking camera." I wasn't like, "Hey, I'm fucking hiding this." You fucking dipshit. I wasn't like, "Oh, I better not film. This will fucking backfire on CrossFit." I was fucking right there when the fucking fiance came up, fucking crying. Where's my fucking dude? And I immediately went fucking searching for Lazar. By the way, I don't like buttholes at all. I have no fucking interest in the Cheerio. On a final note, to be absolutely fucking clear, the job of the safety staff, in my opinion, my sole opinion, was to make sure that everyone crossed the finish line. And that no one was to drown. And that if someone did have some sort of event, regardless of what it is, that they would spot that event, get to the person, and pull them to shore. And I do believe that the athletes deserve that kind of care from the organizing body. All right. Peace out. And remember, keep posting that shit. I'm taking screenshots of all of it. Eventually, we'll circle back around. Right now, the only reason why I'm not doing it right now is because there's so many fucking emotional cucks out there, and they'll eventually move on to the next thing. But I won't let this go down like I did and stay quiet with you fucking assholes who went after the Floyd 19 thing. You will all get your fucking day one by one, even my closest friends. Love you guys. Bye-bye.